Music City Bowl by the numbers. Tennessee vs. Nebraska. Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl. Nebraska, 9-3, vs. Number 21 Tennessee, 8-4, 2:30 p.m. Central Standard Time Friday, ESPN, Nissan Stadium, Nashville, Tennessee. One Music City Bowl did not include an SEC team. Virginia's 34-31 victory over Minnesota in the 2005 game. The SEC has a 7-10 record in the Music City Bowl and a 1-2 record in the Music City Bowl against teams from the Big Ten. The Big Ten has a 2-2 record in the Music City Bowl. One sack is needed by Tennessee to Derek Barnett to take sole possession of the top spot on the school's career list. Barnett is tied for first with Reggie White, who had 32 sacks for Tennessee from 1980 through 1983. Barnett is the only player in SEC history with at least 10 sacks in 3 seasons. Barnett is too short of the school record for career tackles for loss. Leonard Little set the mark of 53 from 1995 through 1997. 2 previous meetings have taken place between Nebraska and Tennessee. The Cornhuskers defeated the Volunteers 42-17 in the Orange Bowl on January 2, 1998, and 31-21 in the Fiesta Bowl on January 2, 2000. 5 double-digit deficits were overcome by Tennessee in Volunteers' victories this season. Tennessee outscored its opponents 252-161 after halftime this season. 5 victories in 20 games against ranked teams for Tennessee teams coached by Butch Jones. Nebraska is ranked number 24 in the AP poll. Tennessee is not ranked in the AP poll, but is number 21 in the CFP rankings. 6 SEC QBs have rushed for at least 2,000 yards, including Tennessee's Joshua Dobbs, who has 2,042 in his career, after reaching the milestone in the Volunteers' regular season finale. Tim Tebow, Florida 2006-09, holds the SEC career record for rushing yards by a QB with 2,947. Other SEC QBs with more than 2,000 are Matt Jones, Arkansas 2001-04, with 2,535, Dak Prescott, Mississippi State 2012-15, with 2,521, John Bond, Mississippi State 1980-83, with 2,280 and Johnny Manziel, Texas A&M 2012-13, with 2,169. 12 sacks have been made by Tennessee to Derek Barnett in 2016, the most in the SEC entering the bowl season. Barnett also leads the SEC with 18 tackles for loss. 14 previous games against Big Ten opponents for Tennessee, including 13 in bowls. The Volunteers have a 9-4 record against Big Ten teams in bowls, including a 45-6 victory over Northwestern in last season's Outback Bowl. 16 different bowls for Nebraska when the Cornhuskers take the field for the Music City Bowl. Nebraska also has played in the Alamo, Astro Bluebonnet, Citrus, Cotton, Fiesta, Foster Farms, Gator, Gotham, Holiday, Independence, Liberty, Orange, Rose, Sun and Sugar Bowls. Tennessee has played in 14 different bowls, including the Music City in 2010. SEC Consensus All-Americans by the numbers. 4 for tied SEC Consensus All-Americans by the numbers. 4 for tied. The SEC placed 8 players on college football's Consensus All-American team for the 2016 season, and Alabama's 4 representatives boosted the Crimson Tide into an All-American run that hasn't been exceeded in more than a century. 20 bowls against SEC teams for Nebraska when the Cornhuskers take the field against Tennessee. Nebraska has a 13-6 record against the SEC in bowls, including 2 victories over the Volunteers. Nebraska is 4-1-1 in regular season games against SEC opponents. 27 consecutive Tennessee games have featured at least 1 rushing TD for the Volunteers, the second longest streak in the nation behind Alabama's 32 games. The last time the Vols were held without a rushing score was November 22, 2014, a 29-21 loss to Missouri. The streak is the longest in Tennessee history. 36 consecutive games with at least 1 reception by Nebraska WR Jordan Westerkamp, 1 short of the school record set by Johnny Rodgers in 1970 through 1972. 44 Nebraska games have been started by QB Tommy Armstrong Jr., the most in Cornhuskers history at that position. His 10,690 yards of total offense are the most in Nebraska history and 7th on the Big Ten's all-time list. Armstrong also holds school career records with 8,871 passing yards and 67 TD passes. 53 bowls for Nebraska when the Cornhuskers hit the field for the Music City Bowl, tying Texas for the second most in history behind Alabama's 64. Tennessee is one bowl behind Nebraska in appearances, but has one more victory. The Volunteers' bowl record is 27-24, while the Cornhuskers are 26-26. Tennessee's bowl record includes a 30-27 loss to North Carolina in the 2010 Music City Bowl. 74 more points have been scored in the fourth quarter by Nebraska than by its opponents in 2016. The Cornhuskers have a 115-41 scoring advantage in the fourth quarter in 2016. Nebraska's fourth quarter scoring margin was the third largest in the nation entering the bowl season. Tennessee, which outscored its opponents by 56 points 149-93 in the fourth quarter, ranked sixth best in the nation. 152.61 passing efficiency rating for Tennessee QB Joshua Dobbs, the best in the SEC entering the bowl season. Dobbs led the SEC with 26 TD passes as he completed 202 of 319 passes for 2,655 yards with 12 interceptions. 265 points were scored in Tennessee's final 3 games of the regular season, an average of 88 points per game. In the Volunteers' first 9 games of 2016, the average number of points per game was 58. The 3 games featured a total of 3,717 yards. Tennessee defeated Kentucky 49-36 and Missouri 63-37 and lost to Vanderbilt 45-34. 284 consecutive games without being shut out for Tennessee, the second longest streak in SEC history, and tied for the 6th longest in major college history. Tennessee's most recent shutout came 31-0 to Florida on September 17, 1994.